Hey guys, it's Matt, welcome to SpeedTutor, and you know I'm always on the lookout for deals and savings for the Unity community. Leartes Studio have put together another bundle of Unity environmental assets, and in this bundle there's 22 different environments. From what I can see, there's about 8 or 9 new environments that have never been in any of these bundles before. If you put all these environments together, they will cost a few $1,000s if you bought them all separately on the Unity asset store, and with the code W50 you can get it for $50 for every single item in here. So if you haven't ever used Leartes Studio's assets, you can get them from this bundle, and I'll go through the newest ones first. And if you do like the content that I make on here, be sure to throw a like on this video and make sure you subscribe because it helps me out massively, so thank you so much. So, in no particular order, there's the Norse environment for Unity, which is suitable across all pipelines, which is a nice environment with 102 unique models, and it's very much themed of Viking, Norse style themed with caves, rocks and mountainous areas. We've got the medieval castle and village with over 300 different meshes with different interiors, exteriors, village props and battlements that are super high detailed. Then we've got the witch village environment across all 3 pipelines, which is 251 different models and assets in this bundle, which is pretty much a bunch of interior and exterior buildings, almost buildings on stilts and things in a very creepy, realistic style with demonic witch props and interior items. We've got the Roman street environment, which is featured around the classic style of, which is the traditional style of Roman building structures with pillars and columns, whole roads and street environments with all modular pieces with one big building in the very back. We've got the Mystic Dungeon environment, which is a dark and airy style interior with candles, rock features, big giant columns, windows, which is stuff to make a dungeon look which you'd expect to see in different RPG games. We've got Merlin's Cave, which has a really beautiful interior featured around what you'd expect to see a library or an observatory from a wizard or somebody who's into alchemy, with lots of high scraping rocks, pillars, books, and lots of things suited towards that style environment. We've got the stylized ancient ruins environment, which is suitable across all pipelines with 184 different props and meshes. This is different to their usual realistic style. This has ivy, towers, battlements, and specific ruined areas in more of a cartoony stylistic look. We've got the Viking village environment, which is a full village with port, ships, and boats, mainly across a winter style, but there is also a spring and summer variation of these, and these all have modular assets that can be used across all pipelines. We've got the Dwarven Dungeon Throne Room, which has giant cascading style buildings with large bridges, big staircases, and very ornamental construction across the entirety of the environment to suggest it was all sculpted within the rock faces and the different areas. We've got the Abandoned Horror Mansion, which is a cool set of interiors with really nice props to have a more old school vintage style interior with sofas, lamps, library components, old chest of drawers and other things around the scene. We've got the Great Tree environment, and it's built around a giant tree which is a focal point of the environment. It feels very much like Elden Ring with large long sweeping bridges, battlements on the outside with very particular ruined and ornamental shaped entrances. We've got the Garage Warehouse environment, which as it suggests is a warehouse with tools, machinery and props to be able to have something that can fix and raise cars in a very realistic look with hundreds of props and stuff included. We've got the Fantasy Dungeon, which is a dark and creepy dungeon style with big chains, big sweeping and ominous structures inside something that you could see in an underworld. We've got the Post-apocalyptic wasteland environment that looks like something you would expect to see in Mad Max, also with a night style environment with makeshift looking structures in a desert based environment with wires, tall towers, buildings, cracks, destroyed vehicles and items. We've got the Siege of Ponthus environment, which has a spectacular castle environment in the very middle with stagecoaches, big giant battlements, and things that you could use in your next RTS. Next one, maybe if you want this to use as a town, it's the stylized Christmas town with really nice set out lights and hanging props, shop windows and themed assets for this time of the year, so you could use this outside of Christmas if you wanted it for another theme. We've got the modular stylized Christmas market, which is somewhat similar to the previous one, and this has stalls, marketplaces, shops and a giant Christmas tree in the middle with buildings on their outside, which almost looks like a little toy town you could use it for. We've got the medieval tavern, which is a full tavern scene interior with food, tables, stalls, and other things to make it feel like a homely tavern that you'd expect. We've got the stylized Paris street, which is another stylized asset set in a Paris sort of theme, which is a small street with different shops, outside windows, and different interiors. We've got the stylized Viking hut, which is an exterior based scene with loads of basic props and things from a medieval scene with a blacksmith work area. We've got the subway station environment with a full subway scene with stairs, with different trains and carts in a destroyed looking environment that hasn't been touched for a long time. We've got the 1970s New York City alley, which is different alleyways with ominous lights, different exteriors of really tall buildings with shop exteriors, and things with more of a seedy style theme. And then one of the tutorials that I thought I'd mention might be useful is Substance Painter tutorials, and it's texturing a chair, denim trousers, and a gun if that's going to be useful for you. You can check out this full bundle on here. I'll leave the link down in the description below. And if you do want to get hold of it, you can click purchase in the top corner. Then you will see the list of assets here, and you can use the code W50 and hit apply, and you can get that at the current discount. And remember, when you do choose to add your information, if you do choose to buy this, make sure you check if it's adding a tip, because the tip does go to the developers if that's something useful for you. And then you can put in your details and pay, and it will be added to your library. And there is also an additional bundle for Unreal Engine if that's something specific for you too. So do check out Unity's brand new starter bundle, which I've made a full video on, and you can get some great Unity assets for a massive saving. And do be sure to come and check out my Patreon too to get over 225 different scripts, assets and projects you cannot find anywhere else. Big thank you to all my patrons. Big thank you to Peter Steiner, Verishutha, Jennifer and David for their amazing support. And thank you to everybody else who comes to watch the video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Cheers.